Hi, my name is Jakob. I'm repairing guitars in Köln, Germany. And I have something quite special for you today. And I want to show you how to make a bird speak joint. You may wonder what this is. It's a ancient or an old way to attach the head of the guitar to the neck of the guitar. And I have some example here. It's not quite finished. Obviously needs frets and strings. Oops. And it looks like this. Yeah. Yes. And the special thing, why does it isn't called bird speak joint? If you have, this is what it looks like. Looks like the beak of a bird. Beep beep. Yeah, and you attach the headstock like this. And the beauty is, it's a real wood joint. It does hold together without glue. Or so if your glue would fail, it would still be in a working condition, but of course you glue it. In December 2022, I've built this electric guitar and used the bird speak joint. My friend Savilo filmed the process of making the wood joint. If you want to know more about the bird speak joint or Savilo or about my work, check out the description below. But first, have fun watching. Well, I started with rough cutting the pieces of wood that I wanted to use. This is mahogany, a tropical wood that's really great for guitar building, but I try to not buy tropical woods whenever possible. So I try to use wood that has had another job before becoming a guitar, and I think this one worked as a window. But I have to cut it to shape and re-glue it and remove the nail. Jetzt gehe ich runter an die Maschine. Well, I have to check that the grain lines run in the correct way. I will glue it to a 5-piece sandwich, if you want to call it, and the yellow wood, that's maple. This is the glue. Well, in order to start with the actual wood joint, the top needs to be really flat. This is where the fingerboard is later attached. Well, you need really sharp tools for that, so I sharpen with champagne, never with water. Tastes nice, actually. Champagne is the way to go. I'm marking the 10-degree headstock angle here. And then I mark the thickness with the actual headstock piece that I wanted to use. And from this mark you go back like 3 or 4 millimeters. This depends on the width of your smallest chisel. And there you can mark the lower part of the upper beak. Where then I did remove the wood in the 10-degree angle I mentioned before. Yeah, checking for squareness, flatness. I marked again with the actual headstock, and then I can make the parallel line, which marks the upper part of the lower beak. I then have to do the 10-degree angle on the headstock. I do that on the shooting board and just put a wooden block under it and wiggle back and forth until it's perfect. You can see here. I know that I'm finished when there's a perfect 90-degree angle when I put the pieces on top of each other. I drill a hole in between the beaks. Yeah, a straight one, preferably. And then it's a matter of really sawing to the line. Badim. Well, the next step is to cut exactly to the line and be square. To do that I use a wooden support block that has a perfect 90-degree angle. It backs up my chisel. For the end grain I used my smallest chisel. This one has the width of 2 millimeters. I again use the support block to stay square. Here I'm marking the width of the fingerboard or the neck. And check out that it's really in the center. It's 43 millimeters. And I now mark the triangle. I go inwards like 3 or 4 millimeters on both sides, as you can see here. The overall length of the triangle doesn't matter too much, but it's important that it's really symmetrical. Well, the inner parts of the bird's beak should be straight now, but I did refine it a little bit with a sandpaper because I had some wood that chipped away. Yeah, but it should be really straight. You can't do much here. Well, I then went in again with a small chisel. Again, used my 90-degree wood block to do the end grain on the sides next to the bird's beak. By tapping I can go exactly to the line. Yeah, well, the next step is to do the sides of the bird's beak. And this is the most difficult part because they are angled inwards. The exact angle doesn't matter too much. It's about 14 degree with my wood block here. I have a wood block that is quite similar to the one with the 90-degree angle. This one has 76 degrees. That's like 90 degrees minus 14. The important thing is, of course, that the angle on the bird's beak is the same angle as you have later on the headstock, because if the angle doesn't match, you will have a gap that you can't see from the outside. I used the knife to cut away some of the wood. Here you can see how I use the chisel with the wood as support. And it has to be really sharp so that the wood doesn't chip. Well, I marked the triangle on the headpiece with the actual neck. And this is why the triangle should be really symmetrical. Now I have to measure the thickness of the upper beak. I take this measurement and scribe it down on the headstock piece, so I know how deep I should cut out. The sides I just do roughly first. I have this jig that has a 9-degree angle, but since I'm using a 10-degree angle on this guitar, I'll place this little piece of wood there, and when I see that the top of the jig is parallel to the top of the workpiece, I know that the wood is in the right place, and I then just fix it with tape. I then removed some of the wood just with a chisel so that the router has less work to do. Okay, by using a router and this jig, I can make sure that the bottom of the mortise is flat and has the right angle. I slowly go close to the line, making sure that I don't route away too much. And at this moment I don't care about the sides. I will do them in the next step. This is the same wood block that I used for the bird's beak part of the joint. Well, you can see that I really stayed away from the lines, because you can always remove wood but never add some. Yeah, well, this could fit better. Yeah, but better safe than sorry. So I didn't route deep enough, so I checked again the depth of the upper beak. And repeated the routing process. Yeah, that's better, but still not quite there. Yeah, time for refreshment. Perfect. What is really important is that there is no gap at the bottom of the mortise, like inside. You can't see it from the outside. On the pointy top there's a little chip missing, but that's really not a problem at all. For the fingerboard I've got a piece of bog oak called. That's a piece of wood that was underwater for a really long time. And the guy who gave it to me, he had the wood checked by an expert. It's apparently 2000 years old. I marked the thickness of the neck. I saw to the line so I have a visual indication of how much wood I can remove. And then I use whatever tool I have handy. I draw the desired shape of the neck, like the profile, and I'm measuring and removing wood. Now I'm close to the desired shape. I make sure not to remove the marks. Now I use sandpaper. The sandpaper only removes the high spots. Starting to look like a neck. Huh? Well, I wasn't satisfied with my wood choice for the headstock. I didn't really like the look, so I made another one. And still didn't like it. And then I made a third one. And the third one is made of the same bog oak like the fingerboard. And I really like the matching headstock fingerboard look now. The bird's beak joint was used by the Martin Guitar Company in the late 18th and early 19th century. It fell out of fashion in 1916, but up to the 1930s volutes were still shaped in the so-called diamond or pyramid style that evolved out of the bird's beak joint. Even today, some guitars have a diamond volute, although the neck is made out of one big piece of wood. Now I'm gluing the two pieces together. I used warm bone and hide glue for that, but you can use really any woodworking glue. I later glued on the veneer on the headstock. Unfortunately we didn't film it, I don't know why. Yeah, this is the glue joint, still needs some cleanup and some sanding. Well, I didn't film building the rest of the guitar, but yeah, this is it. Thank you for watching.